Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I just spotted somebody else's video, and basically all of those like me, which aren't that many probably in the Orchid channels, that's waiting for the review of their monetization, you need to go and have a look at the wording because it's all changed. They've changed the rules again, and it's now quite honestly a lot harder to get monetized. I mean, I perfectly understand what they are trying to do. They're trying to weed out the rubbish and stuff. I don't need to go into why, but it was very high profile what some half-wit actually did. But as a consequence, everybody else has got to suffer, and the ones that will suffer the most are the smaller channels trying to get up and running. The biggies are probably okay, or, you know, or relatively safe, shall we say. They could change the rules again. I mean, they can chop and do as they please. We all know that. But what they've done now is you used to have 10,000 views plus comply with all their partner program and community guidelines and stuff like that, which in the Orchid world we all do. We don't muck about. We haven't got obscene language. We haven't got nudity. We haven't got stupid things being filmed. We're doing plants and stuff. We're not doing any harm to anybody, and we're a nice little community. But to earn a few pennies out of it, that's why YouTube was set up. It was set up for an advertising platform where the advertisers could get those things under our noses and hopefully make some money for their products. And in doing so, the creators who put the work in, quite honestly, could get a little bit in return. It's never going to be a lot in the Orchid world, but, you know, it's pennies, it helps. I mean, I had a look back, well, I was chatting to somebody, but I had a look back over the last season, the last year, and I had to replace one of my big circulating fans because the old one just wore out and didn't work anymore. I had to replace a hydrostat that went wrong. I bought 3 new foggers. I bought new shelving, various additional electronic, you know, extensions and wiring and things like that. And that's in addition to all the stuff that everybody forgets, the media, you know, the bark, the moss, all stuff like that. It's a continuous expenditure. And that's before you start turning all these electrical things on and using the electricity to run all the fans and the foggers and the thermostats and the hydrostats and the heater, you know. It all costs money. So to get a little bit back to help produce the videos, I don't think is a bad thing. I've lived without it long enough. I'll live without it some more time. But what they've done to change the rules is basically, instead of just needing 10,000 views, plus following their guidelines, you now need to do some extra work. Because you now need, I think it's something like, hang on, let me go and look. Yeah, it could be quite a big deal. You now need 4,000 viewing hours in the last 12 months, and you need 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, so, you know, they've made it more difficult. So those are over and above and overriding the rules that were previously put there. They've still got a note on there which is highly amusing, which says, we normally get these reviews done within a week. Sorry, these reviews are taking a bit longer than normal at the moment. Please be patient. Well, that's all we can do is be patient, but it's coming soon. Eventually. As I say, I've lived without it for long enough. A couple more weeks won't hurt. They say they're hoping to get them done by late January, so, you know, maybe another couple of weeks. We shall see. I'm not filming anything specifically out here today, but yay, at flipping last. Because if I'm going to get monetized, I'll have to watch me language now, because that's one thing they do pick up on. So no obscenities, not that you hear many, if any, on mine. You might get the odd one implied but never said directly. It's not open, so there's no point in trying to film it, but I'm going to have a quick look inside and see what sort of colours we've got. A little bit of sunshine. Look at the way that has lit up in the sun. That is absolutely stunning. Come on, let's have some more blooms. That's going to be a lovely spike. Absolutely gorgeous, that one. And that actually sparkles now. There's many orchids have that sparkle effect if you can get a little bit of indirect sun across the petals. Camera very rarely picks it up, but it's there, trust me. Trust me, I'm a professional. How many times have you heard that? I'm just going to film this because somebody specifically asked about it. My Rhynchoredes Bangkok Sunset. When I first got this, I remember saying this was the most expensive orchid I'd ever got, but it had been on my wish list long enough for me to go ahead, if you know what I mean. And it's not a bad sized plant as these go. I mean, it's a Vandaceous type, and they're not giants, but since I got this, I think that's pushed out, well, the very minimum, the top two large leaves and the new leaf growing, which I need to guide between that wire hanger or it's going to stick out sideways. I'll have to tuck that in before I put it back. It's excuse me. It's also grown some new roots, slowly, very slow progress on the root front, but it is growing some. And I'm hoping with the, with the longer days and the warmer weather, that this should do better in the root department. It hydrates fine. That's not a problem. But yeah, it's coming on, I would say. And the fact that it has bloomed, it is obviously blooming size. So I would expect that to spike again later this year. I don't see any reason why not. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I thought I'd include that because somebody specifically asked. All requests are taken on board where possible. There's some things people ask me to do that are physically impossible. But most of the time, if a request comes in or a question comes in, I'll deal with it. It might not be immediately, but I will get round to things eventually. But there we go. This is looking gorgeous. One of my little pinguiculars. That's the only one actually with a bloom on at the moment. It's got a second one coming on there. This one's got a couple of buds coming on it. So, they come and go. This one hasn't bloomed yet. That's one of the newer ones. I bought 3 back towards the end of the summer, and they're coming on okay. This little Polybulbum has now got its second bloom open. Can't get in close to those. They are so tiny. But they are delicately beautiful. They really are. Let's see if I can get it in the light. Those are gorgeous little blooms. Lovely sort of straw colour going to deep brown in the centre, and then a lovely white lip and a lovely little shape to it. Yeah? Smashing little blooms. Not everything has to be big. That's a gorgeous little plant. I'm well pleased with that. And there's quite a few more buds to come too. 3 or 4 at least. So I wouldn't call it a mass blooming, but more than one. Okay, I'll leave that at that. I was just, I know some people are interested in the monetization process, and anybody who's in the waiting queue, all I can do is just wish you luck. But it is out of our hands. We have no control over it. All we can do is carry on doing what we do. And in most cases, there's some good videos around, all about the orchids, all about looking after them, all about the problems. Not everything runs smoothly, and dealing with problems and things like that. It's what the community's all about. It's that sharing. And I can't see anybody finding anything wrong with that, if you see what I mean. If it's not your thing, that's fair enough. I've always said viewing is not compulsory. It's just, that's how it is. But most of us enjoy watching the videos, and in some cases creating them as well. It's a lovely hobby, and it would be nice to get a few pennies back in return for the effort. That's the way I see it. So anyway, maybe coming soon. So just a quick update on the changes that somebody pointed out to me, and I wonder if I can I'm feeling generous. Let's see if I can actually get inside this flipping thing. Okay, you're not going to be able to see as much detail as what I can see. Okay, well, we've definitely got pink, and we've got stripes, and the lip looks like it's a paler pink, possibly even white, with a deep maroon edging to it and some spotting. So give it another couple of days and I'm sure it will be nicely wide open, but coming soon, and colours I would suggest as I expected. I wasn't expecting like bright yellow in the middle or anything like that, but we'll see how it opens up. At least it's started, you know, at least it's making an effort. Slowly. Perhaps it needs more coffee. Yeah, you know, first thing in the day, struggling trying to open a bloom. Perhaps I could try pouring some coffee in there. But while I'm thinking on that subject, I need to go and pour some more in me. I got a croak this morning, a croaky voice. I stayed up silly late last night, which is not normally like me. And unfortunately, if I stay up late, I don't sleep in. So I end up losing an amount of sleep, if you see what I mean. But anyway, we got a bit of sunshine out here today, and workload out here today, probably next to nothing. I'll have a look at my records. The Restrepias and Masdevallias might be due today, but I think that's actually tomorrow. And at the moment, I'm allowing them to virtually dry off before I water them. It's just literally because of the short days. With the Masdevallias and Restrepias, it's got nothing to do with the lower temperatures. That's what they like. It's just to do with the fact that the day lengths are so short, they won't be using up the water as fast. Yeah, it's as simple as that. You know, things can only grow during the daylight hours, and if those hours, well, they're getting longer. I have noticed that. It was still light at 5 o'clock last night instead of dark at 4:30. So the days are slowly getting longer, and as a consequence, I'm going to have to watch the strength of this sun. Not on these top plants. I'm happy for them to get that direct, well, it's filtered through the dirty glass, but it's still virtually direct sun through glass. I will have to watch my step. The heat's going to build up. But when I get the sun in here and the temperature starts to rise, I automatically stick on the big circulating fan now and stir that air up around the leaves. It stops the leaves getting warmed up, if you see what I mean. It helps a lot. But it's this area down here. As the sun goes higher in the sky, this area is going to be in that sun slowly but surely for longer periods as the sun increases in strength. So I may have to get the shade netting back on just there, just that bit, just for this section here. This is all the cool growers and the ones that don't like that high direct light. So I can deal with that, you know. They can have some weeks with just that bit shaded, leaving everything else in the bright light. So it should work okay. As I say, it's the first time I've ever taken that shade netting off completely. And at first it was a bit worrying and I thought it was a bit of a risk, but the easy way to check, you know, if you're getting some sun in through a window or something like that, just touch your leaves, and if they're feeling quite warm, they're probably too warm. You know, gently warm is okay for relatively short periods, but yeah, if your leaves start heating up, you know, your plant is going to be losing its hydration from the inside fast, and under a lot of circumstances it won't be able to pull it in at the base of the plant, especially if it's got a poor root system, so it will dehydrate as a consequence. And obviously in extreme cases you'll actually get leaf burn, you know, which leaves you horrible patches on the leaves that never go away. So watch the strength of the sun as it comes round, and hope everybody's plants are doing okay, you know, or as I think a good expression is as well as can be expected, because none of us have got perfect conditions. We get as close as we can and we do as well as we can. That's all we can ever expect to do. You know, and plants that are alive, growing new growths, pushing out blooms or buds, you know, that's all we can hope for. You know, it's a challenge, but it's good fun. You know, we have hopefully a lot more successes than failures, and when we get a failure, well, just put it behind you. It happens. Stuff happens. You get a failure now and again. If you've got mostly failures and hardly any successes, then have a think, because there'll be some reasons that in theory should be reasonably obvious, and if you are capable of doing something about them to stop them happening again, then you gradually move up to more successes than failures, and that's what it's all about. Nobody has 100% success, I don't believe. Everybody gets a plant go down now and again. Sometimes you never even know why, it just keels over and you think, well, what went wrong with that then? And you may never know. But, you know, information's out there, help's always around. And see you next time. Happy growing and all that stuff.